From the first stirrings of life beneath water, to the great beasts of the Stone Age, to man taking his first upright steps, you have come far.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Sorry, that took a bit longer than I meant for it to. I'm having some sound issues. Sorry, just hit the camera. Mainly my sound issues are that in order for you guys to hear the desktop audio, I have to have the thing ridiculously loud in my ear. And there we go. And I don't like that. So I'll have to figure this out later. So I guess we'll just have to listen in and see how it's going later. Alright, so today, normally we would play Fallout 76, but Bethesda decided they wanted to do maintenance. So we're going to play a little Civ today, and I'm going to talk about my weekend. And joining me, as always, is Cellistmike. Say hello, Cellistmike.
Hello, Cellistmike.
How are you today?
Good. I'm just, last couple of weeks have been rough, and I think this week should be better. Yesterday was still kind of rough, but we'll see. You have to kind of choose to make every day better, I guess.
Yeah.
Looks like you got Stonehenge and you're working on, what is this, Oracle?
I guess. I don't know. I can't see it yet. You know how this game is for me.
Everybody else. It's just me that I think my machine was their test bed for Civ. It always has been.
Yeah. Alright, so let's see. Familiarize myself with this game. Yes, that is indeed Oracle.
Oh. How close are we to each other? Different continents. Do I want a religion?
Of course you do.
Think no.
You want the crabs.
I want the crabs. But you already have Stonehenge, so I'm going to take one.
I have the crabs. I will gladly spread the crabs as soon as I can.
Until then, I don't need it. No
Next
trade routes
turn.
active. Who does my...
Hello, Avalon. How are you?
Hello.
So, how was your weekend, Cellistmike?
I mean, it was okay. Sleep is definitely always my issue. I was able to go hang out with my friend and her family. It's always nice. Played games. Had dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Had a baby drool all over my shirt.
That's always great.
Okay. What do I want for policies?
Whatever you do, you want to choose quickly.
What? Lies.
Oh, that's all lies. That's all lies. Where are you again? Oh, I don't want to look at your ugly face. Oh, there you are.
Oh, what's his face? Gilgamesh.
You in your one city.
I'm trying to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
I just appointed Magnus with his upgrade for free settlers.
Yes.
Man, I forgot how early in the game we were.
We didn't play for very long. I only have this ridiculously long peninsula down here. It's like,
Oh yeah.
don't know. I don't know where these things come from. You can run into them occasionally in these games.
And it doesn't have.
Yeah, Avalon, we tried to play with a turn timer, and Cellistmike just about blew a gasket. His processor short-circuited.
Yeah, one of the things that makes this game so appealing to me is I don't have to be rushed.
Which is why we tend to talk a lot. So, you went and played games this weekend.
Yep, board games. It's just strange, people moving back and forth. So, just a friend from school, language school, way back in the day, works here now. So I go hang out, try to help with kids.
Mm-hmm.
And played board games. We played a spell casting game. Like it's a card game, you rebuild spells. Next week we may do Munchkin.
Munchkin's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite version of that is still the Cthulhu, although I'm partial to the Adventure Time version because that was the first one I played. And the Wizard of Oz one is really fun. I got that one for us, along with the Adventure Time one. Probably going to do that for family night this week.
Holy crap, why does everything take so long?
That's what she said.
Well, that's not a bad thing, I guess.
So, how's school?
Oh.
You surviving all the writing?
No. So it's, as much as I dislike writing, I can generally force myself to write. The problem here was when you're writing about identity and you despise, and you just, everything about your identity makes you want to curl up into a ball and hide. When you take a dislike of writing and mix it with that, it's just horrible.
See, I don't know what this feels like, disliking writing.
It's the lack of attention span.
See, I know what that's like, and I still don't get it. For those who are new to the stream, Cellistmike has gone back to school, and he has been. Is it your English writing class? Is that where the struggle is?
Yeah, it's the only, until I get into technical writing, it's the only writing I'll have to do.
Yeah, so he's doing the college thing, and depending on how things go with me over, next week I have an appointment which is going to take the place of this stream next week, so make a note. Yes, Ivalon, I approve of lifelong education also.
Yes.
Cellistmike is using his GI Bill to get a degree in computer engineering, right?
Yes, sir.
So, and I'm actually looking into doing the same thing starting in the fall. We'll see.
Just like you told me last year, get everything taken care of as quickly as possible.
Yes.
That one school in California does not like to send out transcripts quickly.
That school, I don't know what their issue is. They classify as a college, but they're not really a college. It's a government school. Yeah. It's like the one in Alabama.
They're accredited under the junior colleges, the association, like the junior college association is under the, what is it, the Northwestern. It's the main regional accreditation.
Yeah.
Junior college affiliate, but that doesn't mean anything when you're going to a school in Texas or Georgia.
Nope. Doesn't mean squat. Although regional accreditation tends to be good.
I am surprised at how many credits they absorbed, just nothing that would cover required stuff,
Yeah.
So I have a lot of electives that they don't need for my degree.
Yeah. Well, I have 5 college degrees, and most of them are useless.
Yeah, but
including the one from that school.
What would be amusing is if, with a master's degree, you still had to go do some gen ed requirements in Texas. Texas
I don't know. I'm not
Texas
sure.
history.
Yeah,
so
I'm
if
not
you don't
sure.
have that,
Yeah, I'm not sure what all it's going to look like. Obviously, I have to wait until I have my appointment next week with folk rehab.
yeah.
Let's put that on for now. I hear you. Stop it.
It wasn't intentional. It was that I forgot to do something. But yeah, so, I got to write about how my young life was formulated to create a super compassionate, empathic person. And then the path
and then
of
you
life
joined the
that I
military.
Yeah, the path of life that I chose, and not just joined the military, but went, into the focus of hunting people, like that being my specialty. And
that does not go well with the being a
compassion,
highly compassionate person.
So, yeah, so I got partially through the paper, and I was like, I cannot continue writing this. It was like I was crying, I couldn't sleep, I was having panic attacks. It's like I had like 3 brainstorming sessions, I wrote 2 outlines, but actually writing it, I just couldn't manage that. Hey, congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, Avalon. There it is, holding it in my hand.
Yeah, it's a great book. The struggles with it's backwards.
Well, that's because of the stupid the camera here. Fine. Where's my camera? Flip. Okay, here you go. Ready? Try one more time. There. How's that?
You have to show it and then use a mirror. Oh.
See? The point was to show that I had a copy in my hand that I could hold.
Oh, well, you should always have your camera flipped that way so people see you as you are.
Yeah.
Rather than the mirror image.
Well, it was mirror imaged for another reason.
Oh.
I like to when I'm playing just by myself, I tend to have the game not on my big TV, but on this gaming monitor that I picked up when I was in Germany, which is over here. Mm-hmm. If you look at the stream right now, it looks like I'm looking at the game, but I'm actually looking at that other monitor.
Yeah.
So it was mirrored, so it would look like when I was looking at the TV, I was looking where the chat was. I would be looking outward. So I don't know.
My next
the camera used to be on the side. So go ahead. You were saying.
My next paper is going to be looking at the movie Mean Girls through the eyes of the Freudian id, ego, and superego.
That sounds horrible.
It's not a bad movie.
Yes, it is.
It's not. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Well, it works as painting super strong archetypes of personalities.
There are a lot of better movies that accomplish exactly the same thing. Why would you take a psychology course? Well, my wife is getting an entire master's degree in psychology, and she minored in it in when she did her undergrad. So something is going on today with Dub Track. Yeah. Their music's just not. I wonder if this thing is blocking it. Let me see.
As fascinating as psychology is to me, I am glad that I don't have to take any psych classes. This is just an English teacher that wishes he was a psych teacher.
See if that fixes the problem. It's the it's I agree with you that with that question, Evelyn. What is a computer engineer going to do with psychology? It's the general ed part of the degree, like the
Which is
liberal
stupid
arts part, because
because-
the wanting you to have a broad education. It's honestly just an excuse for a lot of schools to have extra courses that they
Yes.
don't necessarily
Especially-
need you to take.
Especially this, because I've already got college English. But I didn't get it with composition because, hey, I'm not going into a composition field. I'm not going to have to write anything but technical stuff. So, why? But they require composition. So, hey, double up on English 101.
It's not going to hurt you.
I also have to double up on U.S. history. Whatever. Okay, give me another settler. I'm trying to fix that thing you talked about, having so many.
Having so many.
So many cities.
Oh,
Yeah,
you mean
actually,
having
want
not?
a couple.
You mean the problem of not having any?
Ah,
Hey, you have a settler! Yay!
I'm building another.
Oh joy! So, that I asked you. I was going to ask you. So I guess it's my turn to talk about my weekend and where I've been, because I missed Thursday and Friday's stream, and I missed yesterday's stream. I also missed out on the weekend, Pixel Sharks multiplayer. So
I didn't know there was a Pixel Sharks multiplayer.
well, when we will play on Saturday with everybody. We haven't done it in a while because people have been busy. But I think Dimmer and Grumpy Ninja played.
Yeah, he said something about, "Hey Grumpy, when are you home yet?" And I thought he was talking to me.
Well, it's just because you're always grumpy.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What's going on here?
We met the Saudis. I guess it's not really the Saudis, it's Arabia.
Yeah, let's say it's
Because Salah ad-Din is not.
Salah ad-Din.
It's not. Well, actually, I don't know.
He's a butt.
Genealogy is very strange sometimes. I was about to say that he's not in the house of Saul, but Salah ad-Din, he very easily could. He could have been the start of the house of Saul.
Mm-hmm.
Saud, not Saul. Jeez.
You'll get there eventually.
I'm supposed to know some things.
Supposed to. So where have I been for the past 4 days? I went to near Galveston. I went to Crystal Beach for a retreat for veterans. It was with, and it's hard to see because I'm sitting a bit low, but here, I'll see if I can show the sticker. See how it shows up.
You survived Galveston veterans.
It doesn't show up very well, but here, let's turn off the. I know how to fix that. Haha. Filters.
Oh, nice.
Green screen gone. So that's where I went. I went to a retreat put on by the Lone Survivor Foundation. There we go. And green screen back. There. Who's burning my things? Stupid Barbies. Get off my land.
The nice, barbarians are always that balance between, yes, it gives you a focus, or rather, it gives you a distraction, but it also gives opportunity for keeping the other civs in line.
Oh, nice. Salah ad-Din is giving me 3 gold a turn for open borders.
Ooh. Dang.
I'll take that. Okay,
Is he even near you?
He's
Yeah, I
got
guess kind of.
he's got an explorer near me. Yeah, and his capital is somewhere nearby.
Yeah, and his capital's closer to your your second and third city. Well, hopefully that retreat was.
It was interesting. I was going to talk a bit about it while we played today. I'm actually probably going to add because I have the stream puppy thing going for a lot of things. I can just tap a button and so like I can tap that button and it shares that. I'm probably going to add one for that to share occasionally when people ask questions about it. But yeah, so it was a retreat for veterans. My wife is going to one not this weekend but next weekend for caregivers.
Nice.
You know, spouses, whatnot, people who are the significant others, usually dependents, who play a caregiving role for veterans with both visible and not visible wounds. Most of the people that were there were either TBI, PTSD, or a combination of the two, or MST, military sexual trauma, and also PTSD. Almost everyone there, I think, had a disability rating for PTSD. I was the only one there who was from our old career field, basically, from Intel, from the people who, you know, our experience with combat was from a distance, and it was every day, when instead of, you know, deploying for 6 months and dealing with it there and then coming back. Guthron or Cellistmike, he's one of the ones that did both.
And I'd be hard pressed to tell you which is, you know, the from afar work or the right up in the crap. I'd be hard pressed to tell you which has a greater effect.
Yeah,
as I told people, it feels the same.
It feels the same, especially when you don't have a choice about it and it's nonstop. I mean, one of the difficulties that I described this weekend about what I did was I went to work and I took part in horrible things, and then I had to go home and pretend like I hadn't been doing that stuff. Yeah, I had to put on a mask and go to an event, or, you know, not sit there and, you know, be a dead soul inside in front of my family. Like, there was no separation. I could be doing something horrible or participating in something horrible at work, and then 10 minutes later be at Walmart, which is a stressful place to go as it is.
I can't even imagine having to try to separate mentally and pretend. It just sounds...
Well, that's what it was. It was pretending. For all those years, I was pretending I was okay. And
yeah, grocery shopping. I mean, just leaving the house, anything going where people are is
exhausting.
Yeah.
Straining. It's a sensory overload.
I identified it as fear, but it's so irrational. And that's the whole thing. It's all irrational. Like it.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. And like my wife and I were talking about it yesterday, about how it seems like over the past couple of years, I seem to have gotten worse. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there trying to think about it, and one of the things conclusion I came to was, well, one thing I've stopped doing is pretending I'm okay.
Yeah, it's like, it hasn't gotten worse. It's just
I've stopped pretending. I've stopped, you know, like, I'm not going to pretend that I'm okay and want to be around people when there is absolutely no part of me that wants to be okay and around people.
Yeah.
So, give you a little feedback about the retreat itself. It was very active. There was a lot of things planned. It's a little bit different when they also do couples ones, which Art and I will go to sometime probably over the summer. I don't know, because you got to work it around the kids' schedule. Oh, hey, everybody's friendly with me. Be my friend. Be my friend.
Yeah, Mapuche is the only person who won't be friends with me.
Well, he's friends with me. I'm friends with them all. Nobody's gonna attack me. It's a house right on the coast. It's one of those on stilts houses. And they have like a nice little piece of land there that they have the house on, with a little bit of. They have a gym in the garage. They have a golf cart that you can go down to the beach. Although honestly, it's like a half a mile walk down to the beach at the most. It's a nice little. And this time of year when we were there, it's winter. So guess what? Guess what wasn't on the beach?
Snow.
People.
Oh.
Oil. You're funny.
Is there still oil?
No. That didn't hit this part. Let's build a. Do I want to build it here?
I'm thinking of the BP spill from like 8 years ago, 6 years ago.
Something like that. Let's build a government plaza.
So look at the map. Do you see where England is?
Ein Moment bitte. Okay. Yes. Right there. And I guess she came over and put a city, and she put Birmingham over there. Yeah, you know why? Which one is it?
Because she gets those bonuses.
The continent. She literally walked over to where she was on another continent, and she put a city down.
She sent me a warning to not settle too close to her.
She actually put 2 cities over there. There's that other one up there just south of Muscat is her also.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, she's a butt like that. You should go put one up there on the river to the north of you.
I wasn't thinking straight, and I promised her that I wasn't going to settle near her again.
So, go attach a military unit to that settler and send it up there to sit on that river until you get closer to the end of that, and then settle it. And then you can keep an eye on her. If you see her coming with a then you can just settle it.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
No, I'm just going to continue pumping out settlers and ignore what she said.
So it's nice. It's right there on the beach. They have a horse arena nearby for the equine therapy. They have places to do yoga because they do provide a lot of yoga there. Why am I going up this direction? There's not one there. I don't know. So we're gonna go this way. Go that way. Go kill Barbies. So the days. We started early. Breakfast was at 7:30. We had psych education, so where they talked about accelerated resolution therapy, which is what we're all taking part in. I think I was the only one there who had any actual experience in it because I've been doing it with my therapist already. One other person was at least aware of it, but no one else there had actually experienced it, so it was their first experience. So day 1, they got educated on that. Day 2, we discussed what TBI actually was and the differences between, and we also talked about moral injury and the overlap between moral injury and PTSD. Yeah. That's a conversation for another day.
Oh, that's where I sit every day, though.
Well, me too. It's one of the things, one of the struggles that we face is where those two overlap and where they differ and dealing with them. Because one can trigger the other. You can have moral injury and not have PTSD. See, you don't have. They're not comorbid.
Interesting.
They have some similarities that overlap, and they actually showed us a nice little Venn diagram showing how they overlap and stuff. But That's a discussion for another day. Probably I will involve Art with discussing that. So we had that the 3 mornings that we were there, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We had an hour of psych ed education. We also talked about mind mapping, using things that they attach to your head to understand how your brain is working and do it in a way that you could see, which is particularly enlightening for people who have a TBI. I do not, so it was when they did my test for that, they were like, "Wow, your brain is communicating with itself." It's like sometimes it doesn't feel like it, and they're like, "Yeah, well, we're not testing those parts of the brain. We would need to do a more thorough mind map." So after that, we had everyone's schedule was a little bit different. You generally had a joint yoga session where we were dealing with like mobility and stuff like that, and relaxation. We would have an hour of equine therapy where we would go work with horses. We weren't riding them because horses, when they're being ridden, act differently than when they're in a therapy session, in a therapy setting. And we would do at least 1 hour, sometimes an hour and a half of individual therapy, or where it was each day where we were doing accelerated resolution therapy. And we had an evening session of what's called yoga nidra, which was a mindfulness thing to help you settle down and go to sleep, to help get your body, resting and relaxing so you can go to sleep. And obviously we had the three, the meals together, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some of them were, and there was definitely some free time to do things. The first day we were there, after we got there and got settled in, I went and ran for an hour and a half. And then the last day we were there, I ran for about 2.5 hours. So, I was like, why is it still my turn? Doi.
Had something that was on auto pathing and stopped?
No, I needed to pick a policy.
Oh.
And as always, you can see up there, we don't just game because we want to, or because we are dealing, wanting to talk about our issues. We do game for charity. You can see up there on the top center, there's my Extra Life thing. It's very early in the year, so but it's there, and there's a link in chat where you can go learn more. Okay, now what am I going to build? Ancestral Hall. Let's build that, because why not? I eventually need to build a holy site. Governor, I want Liang. Give me Liang. Let's put you in Rotterdam. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of things. Generally, my biggest, I like to make sure that what I'm doing matters, that it's contributing somehow, because otherwise my life is just really depressing for me. So I try to make all these things matter. And since I was doing, I wanted to get back into streaming, but I wanted this to be, contributing to something. That's why I've kind of changed the thing to
the setup of what we actually play and talk about.
Yeah, so like I posted earlier with my little PTSD thing. I have it, and I understand what it's like to have a hard time existing day to day.
That's a really good way to put it.
Have a hard time existing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I wanted to talk about it because it's hard. It can be hard sometimes, especially in a public setting, to talk about it. So that's why we talk about it here. Twice a week, I make Mike get up early on his day when he doesn't have to get up early, and because if there's one thing I've found that really helps with just existing, it's routines. It's I still can't fall asleep before midnight, but I'm at least getting closer to falling asleep at midnight. And I have to be up at 7:30 to send the kid off to school. So I thought, well, why not just, once she's gone, do a stream in the morning for about an hour, do something I enjoy to start the day before I have to go do all the other things that I don't necessarily want to do, but I have to do. Unfortunately, next week on Tuesday, one of those things involves me being gone at the time I would normally stream. So, no stream next Tuesday.
Okay.
So yeah, so the retreat was good. It was nice being away. I'm gonna say I did feel very much like the odd one there, being the only one from my background. Everyone else was not just, I don't want to say your normal veterans, but they're the type who you would expect to meet. They're, deployed into combat environments. A lot of them had actual physical wounds to go along with the invisible wounds. I was pretty much the only one from a remote operations background. And
did you feel any sense of judgment from that? That's something that I always, in the back of my mind, worry about.
yes, there was at least one veteran there who very much sees a difference, and went so far as to say as much at the end. For me, initially, it was, when we first got there, I felt extremely overwhelmed. The traveling there was overwhelming. Yeah. As I was going through security, I realized I probably looked extremely suspicious because I was constantly watching the people around me, and I kept, moving to the side and, not wanting to interact with anybody. So, on my phone, I have a thing that's just barely visible there on the bottom of the screen. It just explains that I have PTSD, and it's something so I can show to people so they can understand, since I currently don't have like a band that I can wear, or I have my service dog yet, which explains a lot of things. So when I got up to the security, I realized I should probably show somebody something, because I look extremely nervous. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be talked. And I'm all scraggly and everything. I was quite certain that somebody somewhere was watching me. And so I showed the person who's standing there telling you to take your shoes off, blah, 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 so you can go through the thing. I showed them my phone. It's like, I just need to show this. And so then they went over and told everybody else at that thing. And so then when I went through the line, it was interesting watching the change. Like, they were very, like, anyone who was coming up behind me would say, I'm coming up behind you. I accidentally left a key in my pocket, so they had to do a quick pat, and they only patted down like the one part of me where yeah, and they limited the touch. And then when I got to the actual gate, I went straight up to the person running it and showed them that, and they were like, okay, well, what we'll do is I'm going to get you a seat right at the front of the plane, and you can go on before everybody else, so you don't have to worry about people standing behind you, waiting for you to get in.
Man, plane rides are
actual plane rides don't bother me, because I've been doing it my entire life. I'm not that part of the travel I understand. It's familiar to me. It's all the people out in the terminal. I don't like that part anymore. I don't like being around people. I did also discover on my way home that because I went up, I'd already checked in, but I went to the check-in counter anyway, so they could add my known traveler number, so I could go through the TSA pre-check, which is so much easier. I could have shown them the same thing on my phone there, and they would have automatically added me to the pre-board, because on my way back, once I got to the retreat, I discovered that there was actually another participant who'd been on the same plane with me and was on the same plane going back, because we both live in Dallas. So when I went this time, I wasn't traveling alone. That helped a lot. And I didn't have to go through the more invasive, TSA line. That helped a lot, not having to, take my shoes off, take my belt off, take everything off, to go through the line. It was just, stick your bag on the thing and go step through. I swear their metal detector is even less sensitive on that line because I left my belt on, and normally that would at least set it off, and it didn't set it off. So it's like, okay, sure.
Well, the idea is if they have a reason to not worry about you.
Yeah.
You get that.
Well, yeah, and I told the person I was traveling with, it's like, hey, I figure I'm still in the reserves. I still have a known traveler number. I'm taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
So,
supposedly mine is no longer valid, but I'm still gonna put it down to see if it is whenever I traveled.
Yeah. So, but yeah, traveling the second time through, it was definitely much easier. We worked on some of my crowd anxiety while I was there. I really enjoyed the yoga. I usually don't feel awake in the morning until I've done something that I enjoy. And so, I told the guy because it was interesting because the first day everybody participated. The second day, only one other person besides me in my little group that was moved because we kind of did a couple of things together. The group of 4, but the second day, only one other person went with me, and then the third day was just me. So it was like they were falling off as we went farther along.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that makes sense because participating in group activities is tough.
Yeah, and I think also some of it was some of them didn't see the value in it, if you know what I mean. Whereas me, I'm just like stretching to help my back. Done. I'm there. Like I'll go, and that was what the last day, since it was just me and the one guy. We spent the whole time doing. We did the. He actually changed what we were doing to help me focus on things to help both my back and my legs, since I'm a runner. Put it right there.
Back to the judgment. I'm eligible for a handicap plate, which I do not want a license plate saying that I'm handicapped because, even if I can rationalize the value of parking close.
Oh, you mean one with an actual? I see that. Here, I think the only one I'm eligible for is the DV, the disabled veteran one.
Well, I gotcha.
So, and it's, go ahead.
I'm tempted to do it, but not because I would use it, but because it's free.
Yeah. Well, I
tend to
you
could get that free, but not have it have the handicap plate on it.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want is somebody saying you're not handicapped. It's like, fine, I get it. Just let me, mind your own business. Let me mind mine. I'm not parking in a handicapped space.
See, that's part of the reason why I want the service dog, is for people for there to be a visual. Hey, there's something, just to be mindful, to be alert.
Yeah. Although even then you're gonna have people being like, "You're not blind. Why do you have a dog?" Which, I mean, that sounds horrible, but there are people like that everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and the dog, will be trained.
Yeah.
To position themselves between. Like, if someone does that, there will actually be a command that I can give, and the dog will position themselves between me and them.
Nice. That will be mentally very helpful.
Yeah, and plus the vest that ours will be wearing once he or she is trained will actually say on there. I would rather have it put on, visible on the thing. Service, PTSD service dog. I would rather have it visible than have to explain to people, because it really does. It really does help. I would rather them know than not know, and Because when I'm somewhere like that, especially like with a service animal, I don't want to have to face the confrontation. And if putting that little extra thing on there gives the person who's looking at the dog that little extra bit of information they need to not come make an issue of it, then I'll gladly put it on there.
Yeah, because even if it only dissuades people from asking that are just curious or just don't know, even if it doesn't dissuade the people that are just out to be assholes, it's still
pardon his French.
That much less confrontation is, even if it's not derogatory confrontation, it's still.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, if I had to rate it, I'd say the experience was very positive. I enjoyed the schedule. Honestly, if I could find a way to have some of that stuff in my life every day with someone else, providing, guiding, I would do it. I was going to. I asked so I could tell you. I was going to suggest that if you could figure out a way to work it into your schedule that you go. And I asked my therapist about it, and they said that we could work it out so that I went with you.
Oh, okay.
There's an application process. Mine was a little bit different because my therapist is one of the ones who works in that group, the group that puts it on. So that kind of helps a lot.
Maybe like during spring break or something. Well, I guess they only have it during certain times.
Yeah, there's an application process that we can talk about offline.
Yeah.
I know that I was talking to one of the therapists that were there, and she indicated that they actually are looking into doing one for people from our background. Like apparently there's a, how we have those guard sites like that we would do some of our work with. There's one of those in Houston.
Okay.
And so they're looking at doing one this fall, this September. And I may have a discussion with them about being at that one way or the other. But so I asked about how I could recommend someone go, and they basically said I just had to walk you to take you to the website and have you apply. So obviously it's dependent upon your schedule. It's a Thursday through Monday. So, although we did have one guy leave Sunday night, but he drove. Actually, we had two people leave Sunday night, but they drove because they weren't that far away. So it was easier for them to, and one of them had to work and one of them just wanted to get home. The one guy who just wanted to get home, I mean, he lived like less than an hour away. No. Where shall I put this next city? I think I'll put it over here. Tends to not be a lot going on in Civ games when I play. Later in the game, there inevitably is a lot to do because you get to the point. I mean, the way I tend to play this is I don't, even if I'm doing a dominance one, I will just wait until later in the game because it's so much easier later in the game to fight a dominance war when you have the better weaponry. Early in the game, unless there's a capital right on top of me, it just, for me, there's no the return on the investment in those kind of units early in the game is just not enough.
Yeah.
I would much rather wait until I have artillery and bombers and obliterate you from a distance. And navy. That's just how I'd rather do it. So I spend the first 3/4 of the turns just getting to the point where I can build that overpowering air force and artillery force, and then, of course, usually by then, a lot of people have been fighting themselves out of the game for me.
Yeah, and then you have clear strong opponents and clear weak opponents.
Mm-hmm. Yosemite. Oh, I remember. This is a normal speed game.
Yes. Yes.
This is like, this feels so different. What is it? What's
We
so
have a little bit of compromise. We're playing with the mods that you have, but you acquiesced to
stupid
my desire to
Mapuche?
play.
Why did you take Zan's? Why do these people insist on capturing city-states? Don't.
I don't know.
It's like you're stealing a benefit from yourself. It's like free money. Why are you stealing money from yourself? Yeah. Oh, and guess what they gave me at the end? At the end. Well, I mean, guess what's one? What do you think? What's one thing they handed out to all the participants? If you had to think about something that's common in the community that we come from.
Oh, a coin.
Right there. You can see it. It's yep. It's not. It's
okay.
As far as coins go. It's not. It's big. It's nice. It's very shiny. It says on the front where the flag is across the top. It says Lone Survivor Foundation, and along the bottom, never quit on those who never quit on you. And across the flag, they have the Lone Survivor emblem, which is I think it's a bird flying. And then on the back, never forget, across the top, and then the website lonesurvivorfoundation.org. And then in the middle, there in the center, restore, empower, and renew. And it has the same bird symbol, and except this time, instead of it being clear or white, it's like the American flag. It's like you're looking over through a piece of paper where the emblem has been cut out, and underneath the piece of paper is an American flag.
Yeah.
So, as far as coins go, it's a very nice coin. Oh, I need to buy something. Give me mullahs. I need the mullahs. I need one of those. Give me one of those. Okay. So, yay, we finally built a faith, a holy site. It's one of those things when you get the Stonehenge and you get the prophet that way. I sometimes forget.
To procrastinate.
Yeah, I forget sometimes, like, because I didn't need it to get that. Good morning, MS. Happy Tuesday to you too.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I actually want to be friends.
I guess I'm gonna trade with Nen Mendel. Same amount of mullahs, just slightly more culture. So normally on Tuesdays, MS, we'd be playing Fallout 76, but Bethesda decided that they wanted to do server maintenance. So we're going to keep an eye on it. We may switch to Thursdays if they keep doing it on Tuesday. I'm doing well. I just came back from a retreat where I was working on some of the issues I have with PTSD and my former life. And we've been talking about that this morning. We also were asking Cellistmike how school is going for him, specifically how writing is going. His favorite thing in the world.
Tell you what, that regressed me mentally really badly. It's the reason I've been having such a rough time for the past couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. It can. I mean, when I went to go to the retreat, when I got there, I definitely felt like I had taken a step backwards because the act of traveling was stressful for me. Mm-hmm. I was at a new airport that I hadn't been at before, and I was definitely, I could tell the hypervigilance was up. I was and then when I got to the retreat, it was loud and noisy, and and there were issues figuring out which room I was going to be in because the bathroom door to one of the because we have adjoining bathrooms, so the sliding door for the other room going into the bathroom was screeching loudly and it was startling me, and so I asked to switch rooms, or actually I just asked them to fix the door, and instead I think they fixed the door and they had me switch rooms. Which, okay, fine, I'll switch rooms. Well, the problem was my roommate was a snorer and was missing a lung. So snoring is one thing, but honestly there were times when I was wondering if he was going to stop breathing on me.
Yeah. Did he have a CPAP?
I don't think so.
He needs a CPAP.
He may have it at home and just didn't bring it. I don't know. That
would stink.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm sitting there trying to sleep and I'm concerned. I am hearing him breathing, wondering, is this guy gonna stop breathing on me? It's very, very. You don't realize how stressful that is until you're sitting there going. And I described it to my wife, and she's like, "Man, that's what it was like visiting my grandmother for so long." Like, yeah, you described it. It's that's what. So, and then the first night we were there, for some odd reason, the security alarm system just started beeping randomly in our room. And it's like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. And I just wanted to plug my phone in and go to sleep. I just wanted to rest, but I couldn't because the thing was going off. And then in the process of trying to figure out if it was the battery and the smoke alarm, they set the alarm off. It was really loud. I stayed in as long as I could. Eventually I had to go outside and call Michelle and go like, I stress, loud noises. I want to leave. But it eventually, they got the alarm turned off and they thought they reset it. The rest of the night, it went off 3 times. It would just beep, 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 like in the room. I eventually just set my phone down on the voice memo thing on my iPod and just set record because I didn't know when the beep would go off. As soon as it beeped, I stopped it. I played it for him the next day and they're like, "What's that sound?" I said, "Oh, that's my roommate." I wasn't sure if he was still alive at one point. And then they was like, "What are we listening to?" So just wait, it's here. And at the end, they would hear the beep, beep, beep really loud. It's like, "That was going off in your room?" I was like, "Yeah." It eventually stopped, but I don't know when. It was several hours. So
Fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, they fixed it eventually. So sleeping was a little interesting for me there. So it was nice to come home and sleep in my own bed, although I still have disturbed dreams. I had some really weird dreams about rats and cats and something else. I can't even remember the last one now. I didn't want to remember it, so I just dumped it as soon as I woke up. I did do the yoga nidra to go to sleep. That definitely helped me go to sleep, so that was nice being able to. I've said because I got the SoundCloud app on my iPod, and I went to the Veterans Yoga Project, which you can look up, and I did the 21-minute yoga nidra. It's body scanning and in breathing, and it says at the beginning, if you fall asleep, that's okay.
Yeah.
So I definitely fell asleep. Eventually, I realized he was done, and I took the headphones off and I went to sleep. What are you saying, Saladin? Leave me alone. Go away. Go away. I don't want to deal with you. You're not saying anything useful. I want nothing to do with you.
I'm going to go pour myself a bowl of cereal.
That's not allowed. We should probably wrap up soon. It's after 9:30.
Yeah, we can wait.
We can wrap up the stream. We can play a little bit longer if you want, but I don't need to keep streaming. So I can do that while you go get your cereal. John Curtis, what do you want? You want to give me money? I'm happy with that. Well, we should finish this turn before you go. I think he left. Okay, so I did all that stuff. Choose some production. What do I want to build? I should build a holy site. There's not really. Put it right there. Build a shrine and a temple. Yes, because we need more faith. You go there and yeah, settle. Watermelon. Alright, so I'll save it real quick just because. Okay. Alright, so that's gonna do it for the stream today. I gotta fix my lighting. What it's doing to my face. Messing my face up. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's stream. I will be back. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to do. I want to do some creative stuff in the morning. We've been cutting up my t-shirts. That's not what I want. We've been cutting up my t-shirts so that we can make a couple different things. One of them's going to be a t-shirt quilt, but we're also doing things like making a doggy bed and making toys. So tomorrow I'm going to try to get Art up and on with me so that we can make some rope, tug of war rope toys and some other things. Using my old t-shirts that we've been cutting up. So stay tuned for that. If she doesn't join me, I'll just do something else. Maybe I'll edit. I don't know. We'll see. So, but the plan is to be here tomorrow and the rest of the week, like as normal. So, I will catch you next time. Thanks for everybody tuning in. It's nice to see everybody. MS, Ivalon, Pixel Sharks, Cellistmike, thanks for joining. As always, we use Stream Puppy to manage the stream. For those of you who are streamers, definitely check out Stream Puppy at that link. You can find out more about me as an author at that website, although I honestly need to get back into updating the blog more. That's where you can support me as an author, as a Patreon, and of course, everything we do on here is about giving back to others, and one of the things that we do is fundraise for Extra Life, and you can find out more about my attempts to fundraise at that link right there. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. If you're back, Cellistmike, say goodbye.
Bye.
All right, and we will catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye.